This is a pretty important video that I really wanted to make because it's something that I'm kind of at the moment experiencing or definitely have experienced for a very long time. But I'm in the kind of process of changing that, and I can see the benefits of doing so. And it's just to understand that you're not lost, but you just don't trust yourself enough. And it comes from different forms, and mainly it's to do with inexperience in something. But when you don't have complete faith and trust in yourself, in what you're doing, it is kind of difficult because you might feel like you're lost. But really, it's not that, and it's just if you have a goal in mind, and obviously you've not achieved that goal, and you've never achieved that goal, and because that's never happened, right? You've never experienced it. It's whatever you do, you're just like, you might question yourself. You might ask yourself, am I actually going to do this? Am I actually going to achieve this? Am I actually going to do this? That's not the right way to think, because you have to always have faith and have complete trust in your ability, and know that the actions that you're doing right now are all leading you to that one goal that you desire. And actually, I want to quickly tell you a quick story, and this really became apparent to me when I watched. So I was on a flight last month, and it was a long flight. It was about 10 hours, right? And during the flight, I was quite tired, but and I needed to watch a film as well just to pass the time. And I watched this film called Moneyball, right? You probably heard of it. It's got Brad Pitt and Jonah Hill in it. And I tried to watch this film maybe about 5, 6 years ago, but honestly, I got bored after like 5 minutes, so I stopped watching it. So you know what? I saw it on the flight. I saw Moneyball, and I was like, you know what? Let me give it a go. Let me give it a go. And I watched it, and my God, that movie changed my perspective completely. Not only did it change my perspective completely, it made me want to watch it again. So the flight back, I watched it again. And the film was basically, so I don't like baseball. I mean, it's not like I don't like it, it's just I don't really know anything about baseball. I've never watched a baseball game, I just know the sport, but even I don't know any rules or anything like that. But it's about basically defying the odds. And there's a guy called Billy Beane, this is based on a real story. Billy Beane, who is the head scout with his, so he basically found and changed sport for the good. It changed sport forever. He changed the game. And how he did that was he's in charge of a very, very small baseball team. You've got the major league baseball teams, the top hitters, the ones with the most amount of money. And then, you know, as you go down, you've got, less invested baseball teams. So they tend to be in the lower parts of the league. And then after like tons of teams below, you've got their team, Billy Beane's team, which basically has, you know, they don't really fund it that well. They just have the team. It's not, you know, they have to really, if they get any star players, which they do, they had 3 star players, they had to leave because of to sell them, and the owners wouldn't give much money. And because of this, Billy had to think of another way, without investment, how he could somewhat compete with the guys at the top. And he did that by defying the odds, by, number one, trusting in himself. But before even trusting in himself, he basically collaborated with this young guy, 25 years old, just out of university, and he had a new job at one of the big teams, Peter Brand, aka Jonah Hill. And this guy was like, you know, he was Ivy League graduated. He was very clever, very analytical thinking. They collaborated together, and they basically picked a team from a bunch of rejects from different teams, old players, But basically, they geared the team around how performance, like complete performance, on how they manage to basically try and get as many wins as possible by finding the kind of, you looked at through stats and everything, and they really took on the analytics of baseball into their own team. And a lot of people throughout the movie, right, no one believed in them. No one believed in them, right? No one, not the players, yeah, exactly, not even the players. The coaches definitely didn't believe in them. The coaches are always doubting them. The backroom staff, the CEO, the investment, whatever, like no one believed in them except Billy and Peter Brand. Except them. They had complete faith, right? Some things didn't go their way, and that's fine, but they really trusted the process. They believed in it. And you know what? I don't want to spoil the movie, but I'm going to spoil it. They ended up winning the league. And to be fair, this is not even spoiling the film because this is a real life event. This is, I think it's called Old Athletics Baseball Club back in the 80s or something. They won the league because of that. And from that day on, they changed every single sporting team, the way they think about and the way they interact with analytics. So this is the point. The point is you have to believe in yourself. And that's the same with me. Like the problem with me is that I found that I didn't trust myself. Like I knew that I could do things well, and then certain things I found my skills and stuff, but I still didn't have that 100% faith that I can deliver. I don't know why, but I just didn't feel like, I was capable of achieving like incredible heights. And that limits me. If I think like that, it just limits me. And the beautiful thing is that no one has 100% faith. If the path is already, if you can see the path laid out for you, then I'm sorry, but that ain't happening. Because you're going to go through trials and tribulations, you're going to go through fails, you're going to go through different things, but everything adds up in the end. Everything basically is part of the journey. Everything is either a learning lesson or it's just a success within the story. So you have to keep that in mind. Whatever you do, you're always going to start with no experience, right? So there is always going to be an element of, I don't really trust myself. But because there is that element, it's all about being brave and taking those steps. Regardless of the outcome, you have to believe in yourself. And I've had many YouTube channels before. Like, this is not my first YouTube channel by any chance. I've been on YouTube for basically 10 years, right? I've had YouTube channels every year and a half, 2 years. I'd give up on them. I wouldn't believe like I can do it. I would just not have that consistency, because if you don't believe in yourself, you don't have consistency, right? And it just becomes super counterproductive to your success. And I kept trying and I didn't stop, but after tons of YouTube channels later, I finally landed on something that I believe that this is something that, number one, would add value, because I'm really speaking on my thoughts and my experiences and what I'm learning in real time and delivering it to you, who happens to be very similar in age and can relate, because we're, at the end of the day, we're trying to navigate through our 20s here and we have no idea what to expect, right? So I can only share what I experience, you can only tell me what you experience, and together we can basically figure this thing out. But what I'm trying to say is, I've had YouTube channels before. I thought they were going to be good, they didn't end up going good. I stopped, there we go, until, it might have taken me about 10 YouTube channels just to land on the right one. The point is, you don't know the path, and that's fine. You just got to keep going, take your losses, but don't look at them as losses. Look at them as just missed opportunities that just gave you clarity, right? They were learning experiences, and then you move on to the next one. And that's it. You just have to believe. You have to trust yourself, and I promise you that is the way. And I'm gonna literally be an advocate for this. I promise you, like right now, I'm on only 1.6k subscribers, but hopefully by the end of this year, we'll grow. But I'm not gonna stop. So just don't stop, pretty much. So, end of the day, trust yourself. You're not lost. Just trust yourself. Find one thing. Go through it. You might not find it straight away. Go through the trials and tribulations. Just continue. Continue. You will find it. And just trust yourself. Good luck.